What is going on, everybody? Ben Morgan, Fins Up Network, back with our final preview and prediction video for the Dolphins' Week 9 matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs, one we've had marked on the calendar ever since the schedule was released. And you know what? It's been magnified a little bit. 6-2 squads now battling for the top seed in the AFC. Dolphins got the bye week next week. There's nothing more that we would like to go into that with that 2-game win streak, be the number 1 seed in the AFC, and then come back against a Las Vegas Raiders team that just fired their coach, offensive coordinator, general manager. They're in shambles right now. We get this win. We head to our bye week. We get to come home to that. Sign me up for that. Like I said, we're going to be doing the final preview prediction video. We're going to talk latest news, injuries, hit on viewer questions. We're going to end with our final score prediction. Before I jump into any of that, I got to hear from you. Drop those final score predictions in the comments. And because speaking of last week predictions, I forgot to give my shout outs from last week's game because we had some close ones. So real quick, at Jonathan Dill 5529 and at Sandman 10100, both predicted 30-17. The final was 31-17, so they were off by 1 point. And then Benjamin Jasso had it 31-20. See, he only missed by a Patriots field goal. So pretty damn good. Let's see how we do. Most importantly, let's just get a bunch of Dolphins wins in those comments. We're going to get going through everything as we always do. The full injury report will be on the scroll, but I want to start with a couple of important ones. As we know all season, what's been most important when it comes to these injuries and the idea of protecting Tua and giving him the best front five that we possibly can? Well, guess what? We got a little bit of good information, and then we got a little bit of bad information as well. So Friday's injury report let us know that, yes, Robert Hunt will be out of this game. The hamstring is going to keep him out. It's his first missed game as a starting player for the Miami Dolphins since he has been starting. And then Teron Armstead, who has been limited all week, but regardless, he was back, listed as questionable. So you're looking at a potential starting offensive line right now. That's either going to be Teron Armstead or Kendall Lamb at left tackle. Hopefully it's Teron Armstead, but Kendall Lamb's been holding it down. Robert Jones is going to get the nod at left guard. They're going to switch Lester Cotton over to right guard. We're likely looking at Connor Williams back at center. Thankfully, Liam has done an okay job here and there filling in, but it's looking like Connor's going to get the nod. If not, yes, it'll be Liam. So yeah, Lester Cotton then at right guard and Austin Jackson at right tackle. So Dolphins of us, we're possibly going to get Teron Armstead and Connor Williams back, but now we get to play with 2 backup guards. And that's just the way that it goes sometimes. That's our history the last couple of years, being bit by the injury bug, but it is what it is, unfortunately. Real quick, before I jump into this week's questions and prediction, a couple people have already reached out sort of just with a congratulation, a hey, heads up on the upcoming 3,000 subscribers. I think I'm like 5 or 10 away right now. So thanks to them for acknowledging it first and foremost, and thanks to everyone that has already gotten subscribed. Making these videos is more than just the subs and the videos to me anyways. But quite honestly, it is nice to see when people acknowledge it and like the videos and watch the videos and comment. So I need to say thank you to those who already have reached out and everyone that has already subscribed. Appreciate it very much. All right, let's jump into the action. First question coming in from John. What will we need to rely on more this week, the run game or the pass game? So if we're going to look at this one by the numbers, the Kansas City Chiefs defense ranks 2nd in pass defense, 18th in rush defense. However, from what we've seen from Mike McDaniels, he doesn't always base his scheme and his game plan solely based on those numbers. So the way I look at it, you can kind of look at it 2 different ways. One, you can play to their disadvantage, if that's the right way to phrase this, but what they're not as good about. And if you establish the game, if you run the game, you're killing clock, you're taking opportunities away from Patrick Mahomes, you're going to try to shorten the game a little bit. So you can do that. You can try to keep Mahomes off the field, or you can say, well, we're the best pass defense or pass offense, rush offense, total offense. It's kind of a role reversal. We've always said, like, we need to shorten the game. Well, guess what? Teams probably want to try to shorten the game against us now. So we can see it as, let's go out there, let's run our offense, let's run what's been working all season, Let's see if Kansas City can go out there and keep up with us. And not only just keep up with us, but keep up with us now that we have a healthy defense as well. We're going to talk about more about that as well here in a second. Actually, the next question. But we'll see how it goes. Mike McDaniel kind of goes with the game flow. He sees how things are going early and sort of just kind of gets that intuition as to how things are going to go and sort of adapts from there. At the end of the day, what we've seen from him and what we've always seen is that we sort of default to the pass game more often than not. So I think to answer the question, I'll say the pass game, but there's a couple of different ways of looking at this one. Alejandro with the next question. I said it was perfect about the defense. How much better can we expect the defense to be having Xavier Howard, Jalen Ramsey, and Javon Holland all on the field together? And I've been a broken record about this. One of the things I've been looking forward to most ever since we acquired Jalen Ramsey was having these guys on the field together. Now, if you think about this, you can put Ramsey and X at your boundary. You can put Cater solely back into the nickel slot position where he basically has thrived in so far. And then you've still got Javon Holland and Deshaun Elliott as your safeties. Brandon Jones is going to be out of this one. He didn't end up making the trip. That's a secondary. And now you get to see Bradley Chubb, Van Ginkel, Jalen Phillips getting done on the edge. We love our Sealer and Wilkins up the middle. This is the defense we've been waiting for. David Long's game has translated well in the run game. We still struggle against tight ends. We talked about that in the first preview video as well. But Jalen Ramsey's addition is what makes this go. And then obviously getting a healthy X and Javon Holland back as well. But Ramsey's versatility, being able to match up with Kelsey when he's on certain spots of the field, as Mike McDaniel and Vic Fangio had talked about, letting him get inside the box, letting him play out on the boundary, letting him play everywhere opens up so much for this defense. So, yeah, I'm a little bit excited for this one. I think, honestly, these healthy secondary players takes this defense to the next level and makes those edge rushers even more impactful. All one word, 154 with the next question. Is it possible that Teron Armstead can dress for the game, but only as an emergency backup? Yeah. I would typically say, they'll probably play it safe in this situation, but quite honestly, it is exactly what we saw Connor Williams do last week. He was active, and your first thought was, you know what? We might have got our center back. And then as news came out, it was, no, Liam is still going to get first team reps. And we even saw a guard go down. We saw Robert Hunt go down, and they just did other shifting and left Liam at center. So, yeah, I think it is quite possible that Teron Armstead could be activated for this game and then played in that role. We'll have to see. I don't have any other intel on that. I would just say what we've seen in the past would suggest that this is a possibility. Let's go to the next one here from Tua Goated. Great username, by the way. Do you see Chase Claypool getting more involved in the offense? Well, I would say that if he can continue to take advantage of his opportunities and make the most of the reps that he is given, Mike McDaniel kind of seems like one of those coaches that will reward you with more opportunities, with more targets sort of drawn up toward you. The problem is Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Braxton Berrios, Cedric Wilson, even as of late, and River Craycraft is probably just knocking on the door of getting back. So once those guys are back, where does Claypool fall kind of in the pecking order? Probably pretty low, but at the end of the day, Berrios popped up on the injury report. Cedric Wilson's been hit or miss kind of as his career with the Miami Dolphins. And Craycraft isn't even back yet from that injury. We haven't seen him return to game action yet at this point in time. So there's a chance that he can be given some more opportunities here. But once that unit gets a little bit more healthy, that's where it's like, it's going to be a little bit tough to see him end up getting more chances, probably a significant amount of chances. Let's put it that way. Let's talk about this one. I got one more question here. Which factor provides more motivation for the Dolphins this week? Option A, the Tyreek Hill revenge game. Option 2, I should say B, finally having a healthy defense. The third option, playing for the number 1 seed in the conference. And the fourth one, opportunity to shut down the Dolphins can't beat good teams narrative. Benjamin with that question. Quite honestly, all of them are pretty solid reasons. You could use a hybrid of all of those, but I'm honestly going to go with the you can't beat the good teams narrative. And Mike McDaniel even talked about it in some of his media availability, that he's talked about it. The team knows about it, that if you lose this game, that narrative sticks. That narrative might even be highlighted more than it already is. The Chiefs just lost to the Broncos. Now, if we turn around and lose to the Chiefs because they have that winning record and it's the magnitude of the game that it is, playing for that number 1 seed, that's going to stick with us. And we're not going to have an opportunity right away because, like I said, we got to play the Raiders then after the bye week. So that's probably my biggest one. And Mike McDaniel actually kind of finished that out and said, lose the narrative sticks, wins. Media's going to love you. And quite honestly, what other excuses are we going to run into? We've battled through the Tua stuff. Now we're battling through some of the stuff on the defensive side of the ball. We're getting healthy a little bit on the offensive line for sure in the secondary. It's that you can't beat the good teams. We can kill that narrative. People are going to have no choice but to respect the Miami Dolphins and definitely fear playing them. I had some questions about Xavier Howard and River Craycraft and their availability as well. At this point in time, recording this Friday night, I don't have anything besides them both being listed as questionable. I do assume Xavier Howard will play, and it does sound like River Craycraft is at least getting healthier, getting closer. Unfortunately, we're likely going to have to wait for Sunday on that one. So let's jump into the prediction. Like I said, let me hear your predictions as well. Go ahead, drop them in the comments. I got us doing it, Dolphins fans. I got us taking that #1 seed in the AFC heading into the bye week, 34-28. And it's like what I said in the preview video earlier in the week. You talk about top matchups, keys to victory, things to watch for. When you're looking at the Kansas City Chiefs, it's stopping Travis Kelce. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is a magician in the pocket. He's going to frustrate you as a viewer. As Dolphins fans, you might not see a ton of Chiefs games. I'm sure you see enough because they're on national TV often enough. But at the same time, the dude is a magician in the pocket. Tua's really good in the pocket. Man, Mahomes could put on a damn advanced degree class on how to maneuver in a pocket. So, yeah, you can't let him create. You can't let him get outside and create those plays. But at the end of the day, you got to contain Travis Kelce. That's going to be huge. And then offensively, like I said, you can get into the scoring, the shootout. You can play the conservative game, try to keep Mahomes off the field. I think you got to mix it up. You can't be too predictable. At the end of the day, I think this is our opportunity to show that we belong. And like I said earlier in the video, it's kind of like it's role reversal. I think this is an opportunity to say we are the best offense. It's not the Chiefs anymore. We have got Tyreek Hill now. We're the ones that can kind of score at will. And yeah, I'm saying that in hyperbole, but at the end of the day, it's like, let's score. Let's see if they can keep up. Let's play to our strengths, and hell, go ahead and try to score against Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey and Javon Holland and Kader Kohu and those pass rushers. Go ahead and try. Play to your strengths and see what happens. But man, Dolphins fans, I am pumped for this one. I'm pretty confident that you are as well. But go ahead, drop those thoughts, those predictions in the comments. Let's carry on the conversation leading up till game time. We'll be back with a recap after the game. But until then, Dolphins fans, fins up.